everyone, Paul Angelo here, founder of the Big Gay Family social program for executives, for entrepreneurs, for gay professionals. And in this video, we're going to go deeper into psychology. For gay men, one of the biggest obstacles in our personal development, in our ability to express ourselves to the fullest, is the fact that our psychological age is not the same as our chronological age. If you are really interested in your full potential, if you're interested in really becoming the best you, if you really want to have not just fully emotional relationships, but also fully logical and transformational relationships, this is for you. If you want to advance through life in a beautiful transition where you're not held back by deep internal insecurities, this video is for you. This information is for you. Let's start out with an ideal progression through life. A lot of this happens for straight people. They don't have as many challenges as gay men with sexuality, with coming out. So when a straight man meets a girl in the 20s, they experiment with sexuality. Then in their 30s, there is this emphasis on status. And then what you see later, usually at 40, the person starts to be interested in spirituality. And relationships change, the dynamics changed. A lot of times you see these people no longer interested in sex, no longer interested in status. They've done all that. For them, life becomes more meaningful through expansion of their spiritual energies. And then later, as they get older, maybe in their 50s, emphasis now becomes on connecting to others on the basis of their dreams, on the basis of bigger ideals that they've always wanted to attain in their youth, but because of lack of money, resources, lack of being around the right kind of people, they could not fulfill those desires, those dreams. So you see people that have gone through the spiritual unfoldment, and now they are at a certain space in their life where it's about dreams. It's about doing the most difficult things that they could have never done before because they were into sex, because they were into status, because they were working on themselves. Now the dreams are their focus. And then at the final stage, in their late 50s, 60s, you see people that are, or men, straight men with women, so we're still with that particular template. They are now interested in changing the world, contributing to society, making a difference, really wanting to leave a legacy. So again, in the 20s, it's all about sex. In the 30s, status, money. In the 40s, spirituality. 50s, it's the dreams. And in the 60s, sometimes maybe even later, it's a contribution to humanity. Now, obviously, these boundaries between each stage, they're not cut and dry. Sometimes it happens faster, sometimes it happens a little bit slower. But in general, that is the ideal expansion of your internal energies and unfoldment and the connections with people that fit into that particular stage of the person's life. So for gay men, what happens a lot of times, especially if the person comes out, say, at 40, that person starts out at 40 to be interested in sex, to then be interested in status. And sometimes if a person comes out later in life, this man may never attain the kind of relationship where the dreams that two men share together are the focus, where their contribution to humanity is the focus. A lot of times you see men, they're stuck in the sexual and status dynamic and value that they want to exchange with one another. So if you are really seeking for a serious life fulfillment, it's important to take this extremely seriously and to start to align yourself and to speed up the process of sexual exploration, the process of awareness about how status, how money, the beautiful gadgets that a lot of people focus on in In places like Miami, South Beach, New York City, Los Angeles, status seems to be the main theme in certain areas in America and other countries as well. And so you want to recognize that with status, money, possessions, they don't really give you any value. To do that, however, it does not happen automatically. You have to be, sometimes suffering has to show up in your life. Emotional suffering, certain loss of somebody you loved, and after losing someone you loved, you realize that you really wanted that person and not the gadgets, not the possessions, not the consumerism culture that's a lot of times surrounding our desires. So as a gay man, as you go through first the sexual exploration, then as you seek that understanding of consumerism, gadgets, money, and status, that you speed that up with more frequent interactions with men, with coaching, training, counseling, to really look at the world around you. Look at the world around you and be honest with yourself. Are possessions, beautiful, expensive cars, huge houses, consumerism and sex culture, is that really bringing value to you? And be honest. Notice how you feel with interactions that are meaningless, with interactions that are shallow, with the time that you may be spending watching stupid movies, following all the celebrities and living their lives as opposed to living your own life. So that awareness has to be expanded. The contacts with other men through which you notice how you feel when these interactions are wrapped in that consumerism, status-driven culture, that, as you speed that up, eventually you then reach the spiritual stage. And from the spiritual stage, you start working on yourself. You focus on your internal expression of life. You focus on what's happening inside you. You start to notice how external stimuli are no longer interesting to you. And so as a gay man, removing yourself from the sex culture, removing yourself from the status, consumerism-driven culture is really important. Entering into spiritual circles, doing meditation, learning about yoga, looking at the world around you, at the places where there's a lot of suffering, and noticing how you may be at some moment interested in really changing that world, reawakening your desire to be heightened in your awareness of how there's so much suffering in the world, and that through spiritual awakening, you may be later making a difference through your actions. Spirituality for gay men is huge because we have a lot of confusion, suffering with relationships. We are not validated through our partners in our love affairs, with our friendships. And so internally, we have to fill in the gap where our partners, lovers, and friends no longer are capable of giving us. It's not that they don't want to give us that validation on a deeper level. They're incapable. They have not received the training. They themselves might be chronologically and psychologically misaligned. So as you progress through these stages, spirituality then becomes your enmeshment, your awakening, your evolution, and setting the new steps for the next phases of your life, which is unfoldment of your dreams. What you don't want to do, you don't want to get stuck in the sexual phases, in the status phases for too long, because they're empty. And the relationships that start in those phases very rarely can progress into the later stages of really connecting on the basis of dreams. I've had extraordinary opportunity to experience these different phases with Frank. And I see now, I do understand why in certain relationships there is so little emphasis on sexuality, because these men and women, they have progressed, they have advanced. To them, value is received through higher level dynamics that connect to the bigger world, that connect to the world around us. And the value then is exchanged through conversations, through interactions, through adventures, through moments of talking about those things. And you really connect on a deeper level with those people. And these are the people that will stay in your life for lifetime. When you meet people in the dream phase, or in the spiritual phase, or in the contribution to humanity phase, you become connected forever. Literally forever. Very rarely you see people from those moments of your life leaving your life and not returning. Frequently we see people that we meet in the sexual phase and in the status phase, they leave our lives on a continuous basis. A huge challenge for older men, older than 50 or 60, when they are in relationships with significantly younger men, is the very thing I'm describing right now, which is these younger men, they show up for a certain exchange of codependent something, and they leave, and there's this perpetual search for another younger man here, another younger man, and then eventually the older man or the mature man enters into his 60s without really living a deep life. So aligning your psychological age with your chronological age is really, I would say, number one priority for all of us. Some of us have had the luxury of getting coached, getting counseled, or having mentors. And through these mentors, when we look at them, we see who they are, and we see the distance of who they are versus who we are. And then we look at their life quality, the things they do, and we can then journey on the path to the kind of life that they have. But if you don't have the role models, if you don't have family or friends that are showing you those very behaviors at different stages of life, we are frozen with our sexuality, with our attraction, with our choices for partners. We are frozen in time, and really that's where a lot of challenges start to happen. And the somewhat dangerous space opens up where these challenges are wrapped like an onion layer, one on top of another, on top of another, and it takes many, many years to undo all of that, because you're talking about 10 years of 20 years of being stuck in the wrong kind of, or in the phase that should have been left many years ago, but the person has been in that phase for too many years. I wanted to share this with you because this is really crucial, and when you work on yourself, you then reach the moment of that beautiful alignment, and then your mind, your emotions, and your spirit work together. So this leads me to the final conclusion I want to share with you. We are really designed for extraordinary abilities to solve all our problems. Human beings are very powerful, but that power is taken away in the modern society when our psychological phases are not fully completed, when we are moving forward and dragging with us unfinished business that we have with ourselves. And so it is, the good news is that you can be very powerful, you can attain all your dreams, you can attain all your love, goals, and desires, you can have extraordinary adventure in your life. But you won't be able to have that if you drag with you these unfinished phases that should have been finished long ago. I see a lot of personal development programs online. I see a lot of coaches out there that are trying to get you to do something about your life. They have specific agendas, ideas, methodologies. But very rarely you see the kind of coaches and trainers that tell you the fundamental truths about who you are and what makes us successful. And the fundamental truth is that we are extremely capable. You are extremely capable, but you have to be fully you. You have to be fully you, or 90% is still okay. But if you're 60% you, then it will be much, much more difficult to deal with the complexity of the world today. I recently watched Terence Mckenna. I'm a big fan of Terence Mckenna. He was a philosopher. He passed away in 2001 or 2000. And one of the things I remember hearing him say is that reality today exceeds our ability to comprehend it. Reality today exceeds our ability to comprehend it. What he meant by that is that reality is so complex that most people don't know how to make sense of it. And I actually think we are at a time in human history where reality is so complex, most people feel lost. And so, to wrap this discussion up, if we are not fully ourselves, we won't be able to make sense of reality today, and we're going to be falling behind year after year after year. So taking training, coaching, personal development, and I'm not implying you should do this with me. I'm saying do this with anybody that you want, but do this. Read books, go to seminars, learn about psychology, learn about your potential, learn about the different caveats of human nature. That is important to know. Otherwise, we won't be able to fulfill our lives and be happy. So I want to end on a good note, which is an invitation for you to look at the Big Gay Family Social Program, because one of the extraordinary aspects of that program is that it helps you expedite your evolution through these different phases: sexual, then status, spiritual, dreams, and contribution to humanity, because you have expedited more frequent number of introductions and conversations with a lot of gay men. And these men are professionals. These men are successful. They're good communicators. So with them, you'll be able to talk through a lot of the different aspects of each phase and move faster. Through authenticity, through openness and sharing, you can speed up the progression, kind of like a rocket, speeding up through these different phases, arriving at the spiritual phase, which is the beginning of the real transformation for you, for me, for all of us, and then living your life to the fullest. So I'm inviting you to look into Big Gay Family Social Program. Visit biggayfamily.com, and I hope that it will change your life. Hey, this is Paul. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. For more videos like these, please subscribe to my channel, share this video with your friends, and until I talk to you in the next video, as always, go out there, think big, stay present, and be a leader in your life today. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.